Hello, you're watching Ellie from Ellymentry Papercrafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK. I recently showed you this photopolymer stamp set that I bought. It's called Willow Tree and it's from Stampin' Up. And I've always loved willow trees. It's just, a thing I can remember right back from my childhood when we used to go out on day trips, and we always used to end up somewhere near water. And I can remember keep pointing to the trees and saying to my mum, I love those trees, what are they called? And she always told me willow trees, but as a youngster I always used to forget. But I just adore them. So when I saw this, I thought, yes, I've got to get it. Today I'm going to make it's a really simple card, but I just like the elegance of the tree and these two sweet little rabbits. And I just thought I'd just make a sweet little card, quite plain and simple, but I think it'll be really well received. So I'm starting with the actual main stamp of the tree trunk, and I'm going to use soft suede. Oops. And because I'm going to use a frame on this one, I have just marked at the bottom of my card very lightly in pencil, which I can rub out at the end if need be. Just 2 lines to give me a guide so that I know where the bottom and the top of my tree needs to be within the frame. So let's just ink this up with the soft suede. Make sure it's well inked. And then, so I'm going to come up slightly from those lines to about there, I think. And then this is quite a big stamp, and I want to make sure that everything touches the cardstock. So I'm not really pressing hard here. I'm just making sure that the ink makes contact with that cardstock for a few seconds. And then I'll bring that up and I get a really good stamped image. Then I've got the big actual leaf, the leaves image here that I'm going to use, this one. And I'm bringing that in, and I'm going to use Old Olive. Now, I spent quite a lot of time practicing with this stamp set and lining this up, trying to get the branches to fall between the breaks here, and I've realized that it actually doesn't line up, and I think it's deliberate because they want you to see the branches through the tree. So my what I do is this: I just stamp it once, I pick it up and I reposition it, and that gives me a good sight of the branches, but it also gives me another colour of leaf that comes through. And if you look at a willow tree as it's blowing in the wind, you do see the front and the back of the leaf, and they're 2 different colours. In fact, most foliage is lighter on the back, and when it's blowing in the wind and the leaves are turning around, it's just beautiful. But I go one step further and I take Pear Pizzazz and I do the same again. I deliberately don't line it up with my previous stamps, and I stamp twice again. So I get a really full coverage, and I get lots of different colour and lots of overlapping colours. And that really sets it off for me. So then there's a stamp on here. You might wonder what that is. That's to give the tree some ground to sit on. Otherwise it looks like it's floating in fresh air there. So for my ground, I'm going to use crumb cake. And this, now you have to make sure you put some ground all around this Okay, you don't want that bit just to sit on it. It's planted in the ground. So I bring it up, and the good thing about photopolymer stamps is you can see exactly where it's going to stamp. So there you are, the tree's right in the middle of that piece of ground. So I'm going to take those two adorable rabbits. Now, they are really big in comparison to this tree, so I think they might be hares rather than rabbits, but I don't really care because they do look so beautiful. So actually, before I stamp the rabbits, I'm going to use this. You might wonder what that is. It's grass. And I'm going to use the old olive and just do some little tufts of grass, stamping off as well to give it two-tone, and a little bit more just to give it some more interest. And then I positioned my rabbits on this stamp so that they sit either side of the tree in amongst the grass, like so. Rabbits or hares, whatever. I just think they're so adorable. They stamp beautifully. So then I'm going to come in with the old olive again. And here there are a couple of leaves of sprigs, or sprigs of leaves. Now that's another reason why I put these lines here where my frame's going to sit, because I want to bring in a little bit of foliage poking out from the frame, but I don't want it to hang over here. So by putting those lines, I can make sure it doesn't fall outside the frame. And I'm just stamping a couple of times. Like so. And that is all the stamping I'm going to do. That is, as I said, a really simple card. So to bring in the colours I've used, I'm going to use an old olive card base. I'm really sorry, my camera cut out and you missed the part where I mounted the frame onto the image. So the frame is the one that I cut from my previous video showing you the fabulous frames dies, and I put the frame onto the white, and I didn't like the white border. I decided to cut it off and have the card, the gold, straight onto the green. I just like the look of it, so I'm sorry that you missed that bit. So what I'm going to do is just pop some Tombow glue on the back of here. Got my Tombow in my bottle that's got a very small opening on so that it doesn't come out too quickly. You don't need a lot of glue. And then it helps if you pull your card open to make sure that you've got a nice flat surface to adhere to, and then you can just wiggle it about a little bit until it's central. And then be very careful, try not to get any liquid glue on your fingers or excess on the card, because with this, I always call it mirror card, I never remember what it's called in Stampin' Up. If you get glue on it, it can spoil it. If you do get glue on it, if you just get a tissue and, you know, buff it up, it actually can come off, but it's, you know, it's always a good idea just not to get the glue on there because it can dull the surface. So that's my very quick card using the Willow Tree stamp set from Stampin' Up and the fabulous frames dies. So if you've enjoyed my video, please do give me a thumbs up. If you're not already to subscribe, then please hit that button. When you hit the subscribe button, if you click on the bell, it will alert you every time I release a video. And don't forget, I do a live stream on a Saturday afternoon. That's 2:30 p.m. British summer time. and I post my recorded videos on a Wednesday evening. In the description box below you will see a link to the digital catalogues and also a link to my online store where you can purchase the items I've shown you today and any items in our current catalogues. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.